The story of John Stink, or Hotamoy, Rolling Thunder, became a legend in Osage country. Stink once lived in Pawhuska but later became a recluse living in a tent, and later a cabin, outside of the city. It is said that sometime around the 1910s, policemen killed one of Stink's many dogs who he adored deeply. Because of his distress, John settled outside of Pawhuska, never once stepping foot back into city limits. Aside from being known as a recluse, John Stink was also thought to be a ghost at one point in time. There are a variety of accounts of what actually happened, but a few of the versions are as follows. Ill with smallpox, John Stink became unconscious. The Osages believed him to be dead and buried him with full Indian ceremonies. John Stink dies. At some point, Stink regained consciousness and returned home. However, when his friends saw him, they believed it was his ghost. John Stink dies. John Stink was infected with a disease. A medicine man came to see him in an attempt to cure him from his illness. During treatment, Stink failed to respond and passed into a stupor. Curious legend. Believing he was dead, the Osages performed their traditional burial rites and buried him on top of a hill in a seated position covered in rocks. The story goes on to say that being buried in such a manner brought Stink back to life. He is said to have then returned to his home only to find that his horses and possessions had been given away and that other Indians shunned him as a ghost. Curious legend. After heavily drinking, John Stink fell into a snowdrift. Curious legend. He was later found by a fellow tribal member who believed Stink was deceased. The tribe performed their traditional burial rites and interred him on a hill. John Stink later thawed out and sobered up and climbed out of his rock sepulcher. Curious legend. At the age of 80, John Stink lost his battle with pneumonia. A funeral was held in his honor at the Immaculate Conception Church, which was followed by traditional Osage rituals and then his burial in a mausoleum. Morgan M. Guzman. John Stink dies at home here on Friday. Osage County News. September 23, 1938, p. 1. Microfilm roll number MN00312. Sequoia National Research Center, Little Rock, Arkansas. Further reading. John Stink has curious legend. The Daily Journal Capital. April 24, 1938, p. 7. Microfilm roll number MN00298. Sequoia National Research Center, Little Rock, Arkansas.